Welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network, coming to you from the TeacherCast studios since 2011. Join us each week as we bring you the latest educational news, EdTech updates, and hottest interviews with today's most influential leaders in education. And now, for your host, Jeff Bradbury.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for joining us today and making TeacherCast your home for professional development. This is TeacherCast Podcast, episode number 227. Welcome back to another great school year. I'm excited to get back into the classroom, and there are so many great things happening over here on the TeacherCast Educational Network. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Today, I have an amazing show, and we're going to be talking to two guests all about some of the things that they're doing for education in the world of video streaming. That's right. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been working with some friends over at PTZ Optics to talk a little bit about what school districts are doing and can be doing to help not only communicate with each other, but also to get their messages and curriculum out to the community. If you have any questions about today's episode, don't forget to check out our archives over at teachercast.net. We've got all of our shows. And don't forget, you can join our free TeacherCast Tech Coaches Network by heading over to askthetechcoach.com. Would love to have you guys be a part of TeacherCast as we head into the 2021 school year. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. I want to bring on my first guest today. He is an employee for the Hubbard Village School District, where he not only does a little bit of music, but he also does a little bit of athletics, and he's been doing some pretty neat things in the world of video. I want to bring on today my good friend, Mr. Scott Killian. Scott, how are you today? Welcome to TeacherCast.
Doing well, Jeff. Thank you.
It is so great to have you guys here. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, let's see here. I am call it a supplemental employee for the Haverford schools. Do, like, as you said, I coach bowling. I work with the band program.
Scott, it's great to have you. And, I'm looking at this school year a little bit different. Last year, we were trying to figure out how to teach in a hybrid learning environment. We used things like Zoom. We used things like Google Meets, Microsoft Teams meetings. But right now, as we're heading into this year, school districts are looking for something a little bit beyond that. It's more than just having a virtual classroom. It's about having virtual meeting rooms. It's about setting up auditoriums and board meetings so that they can do some amazing things and, most importantly, I think, keep their communities safe. I know my district last year was very successful in doing virtual hybrid meetings. I know everybody around the country is trying to figure out what is that solution. Before we really deep dive into some of the things that are happening around the country, I wanted to ask you, Scott, what's been happening in your school district? What are some of the things that you're doing to make sure that your district is connecting with your community?
This year, we're actually just working on creating an environment really where we can build a video streaming environment to where whether you're in person, at home, on your mobile device, we can stay connected with the community.
And that's what I think what most school districts are looking for. How do we stay connected? How do we get our messages out? I mean, it's more than just those board meetings. It is those orchestra concerts. It is those band practices. It is those sporting events. So many different things require video streaming these days. And today we're excited to talk about a brand new solution out there for the education environment. And to do so, I want to bring on my good friend, Stephen Heywood, the broadcast engineer for PTZ Optics. Steve, how are you today? Welcome to TeacherCast.
Hey, Jeff, it's great to be here.
It is so nice to have you. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening these days over at PTZ Optics.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been really rocking and rolling with these cameras, being able to help schools, in the case of Hubbard, to be able to have no camera operators to control a camera. For those that don't know, a PTZ Optics camera, PTZ stands for pan, tilt, and zoom. So essentially, a person can control the camera without having a physical camera operator, Jeff.
And that's important, right? Because so many of these camera systems are traditional camera or phone or something on a tripod, and there's always needing to be that person behind, which is sometimes an adult, sometimes it's a student, but you have to do something physically. I love the different solutions from PTZ Optics, so that way you can set it up And no matter where you are in that room, that camera has the opportunity to follow and track. How does a school district get connected with PTZ Optics? Where do we go to look for more information about these products?
Well, you can visit our website at PTZOptics.com. We're pretty much PTZ Optics everywhere on your favorite social platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. And we also produce video as well as live streams that help schools, anybody that's looking to get live streaming. We have videos for it to help you get started, and so you're not feeling inundated or unsure of how to set this stuff up.
And I like that. When I'm looking for a solution, I'm always looking for that professional development aspect of it. Do I need to learn something? Is there a major learning curve? And I love that when I work with PTZ Optics, everything is right there in front. Now, Steve, anybody that's listening to this wants to ask the big question about budget. How do I budget for something like this? So is this something where you buy one camera? Is this something where you buy another camera? Let's just give you a quick scenario here. If I'm putting together something for a boardroom, like my board of education or my principal, superintendent's office, like that, what kind of things should I be thinking about when outfitting a conference room?
So we have a lot of different products that range from just a simple webcam at a sub $100 price point, all the way up to a camera like you're seeing me on that ranges, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, depending on what your need is, right? So we have a lot of different products. We also have a sister company called HuddleCam HD, which specializes a lot in conference rooms and things like that. So there's a lot of technology here, Jeff, that you can use and get in at a very reasonable budget without having to buy 10 cameras to achieve that goal.
And are these cameras both inside and outside? Because that's usually the other question that I get when I'm doing, my podcasting workshops and stuff. Can I buy cameras for outside that are of good quality? Can they reach the 50-yard line? What would you suggest for anybody wanting to do something like this for, say, a graduation stadium or a sporting event?
Sure. We actually sell enclosures that you can put these cameras in that make them weatherproof, basically, so you can leave them up all year round. And one of the beauties of these cameras is having the NDI, or Network Device Interface, from Newtek. Having just power over Ethernet, or PoE, if you've heard that acronym, running just an Ethernet cable to that camera on the football field with one of our, say, 30X cameras, being able to pick up the 50-yard line or be able to scale almost the whole football field is really remarkable when considering camera technology.
Now, Stephen, you've had an opportunity to work with school districts, specifically with Scott over at Hubbard Village. Guys, talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you guys have been doing together to help your community.
Well, Scott, I think this got started back when we were asked to do, I think it was a year and a half ago, we were asked to do the Memorial Day venture, right?
Yeah.
So Scott came to me and he says, hey, the mayor of Hubbard would like us to do that. And then we started talking as we're doing this and prepping. And he said, hey, we'd really like to get something going at the school. We went in for band night, right? No parents were allowed to go to band night.
Correct.
And we were there, and they kept us there for quite some time because they were like, this looks awesome. We had the camera set up. I brought my whole rig with vMix and Wirecast gear. And we were switching different pieces of software, being able to, for things that we needed. And then it brought us to you asking about getting cameras inside the classroom. And why don't you talk a little bit about what they're doing? They have a class for this.
Mm-hmm. Well, really, actually, you missed one section. It was actually towards the bowling season also, too. Getting to where some sporting events were allowed to have 2 spectators, say, per student. Being the bowling coach also, we were allowed to have 0 spectators at all. So right out the gate, it was, okay, Stephen, how do we get our match out to the public? And thankfully, most centers these days have internet. So a couple cameras and a personal computer of mine with Wirecast. And next thing you know, from our first match to the state high school bowling tournament, our families were able to have a phenomenal production. Very simple, very cost effective, and realistic to what we were using to to them. And then also, like you said, getting into the classroom, it started off as an upgrade project of what can we get into the classroom to really get us into the modern age to where we can keep up with other schools, but also to in future years how to get the what the kids are doing in the classroom out to the public. And that turned into a phenomenal situation with Steven and with PTZ getting I believe we have 4 cameras, correct, Steven?
Yes.
That ended up being the final total 220s, 230s, I believe.
Yes, correct.
Correct. And that is going to turn into a permanent rig inside of our video productions room with the green screen capabilities. We have a phenomenal little, pretty decent studio, really, desk and whatnot for the morning announcements, for things like that, for news production. And then 2 are going to go into a mobile rig to where we can take the students can take them to a sporting event, to a board meeting, to anything that would need to get out, because we do have the software on a laptop and whatnot, to where really anything within network reach of the school district, we can stream that and get it out to the public through the social media pages. And that was a phenomenal deal, like I said, with Steven.
I love the fact that you're mentioning that this stuff is not only available for mounting, inside, outside, but it's also good for a mobile rig. I mean, who thought bringing your entire video production studio into a bowling alley? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great reasons for doing this. Steve, when a school district wants to reach out and work with PTZ Optics, how do they do that? Is that something that a teacher should be able to do, or is that more the tech director or the business? Like, who does a company usually work with in the school district?
Yeah, we actually started working with, we reached out to the broadcasting teacher. Originally, Scott introduced me to her, and then we had went up the chain, I guess, to our, the superintendent, right?
Yeah, through the principal to the superintendent, and just kind of pitched him an idea of, hey, we have the opportunity to do this. And where we had the opportunity, we kind of had an obligation to really do it too.
And so I went into the boardroom. We had a meeting. Scott set up the meeting, and I brought a couple PTZ Optics cameras with me, not as a sales pitch, but basically to show them what these cameras were capable of doing, because they knew graduation was coming, school plays were coming, families were asking, like, how do I get to see my kid in a play or even graduation? We didn't know what was going on, and so it was at that moment they were getting the cameras, but we also had volunteered to kind of help out in the troubling time, to go in there and shoot the plays, shoot the graduation, which then Scott is turning into now. They want to keep that around, even though school is going back as of right now, 100% 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm. And that is something that many school districts are doing right now, is they're bringing their kids back, they're bringing their community back, but they're trying to also make sure that they're thinking differently moving forward. And if you have any questions about this, certainly you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to put you in contact with everybody, or you can reach out directly to Steve and the whole entire team at PTZ Optics. Steve, where can we go to reach out to you and learn more about all the great stuff that you guys can do together with your school districts?
Best thing to do is go to the website, PTZOptics.com, and fill out the form, and somebody will get in touch with you.
We certainly hope that you guys can do that. Scott, what do you see as the future? What are you looking forward to this year with your students, and especially all the great things that you're going to be doing together through broadcast streaming?
I think really the biggest thing is a lot of these things last year were done through the professionals, through myself, through Steven and whatnot. I think the biggest thing this year is going to be able to get the kids back into the classroom, of all things permitting, and really get their hands on it and see what they want to do, see what gets them excited about broadcasting, gets them excited about, hey, let's do this event, hey, let's do that event, get them from the camera operator to the announcer to the producer to everything there. It's like I said, it's getting the students really involved with the production system, with the new technology, and seeing where they want to go with it.
I love it. I love the story. I love how this technology is not only being used for community engagement, but it's also being used for curricular reasons. It's being used for student athletic reasons. Lots of great stuff and lots of great reasons for you guys to check this stuff out for your school and your classroom. And if you do, we'd love to have you guys come on the show and share a little bit about how you guys are using this technology. Steven, Scott, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you guys have a chance to check out everything over at PTZ Optics and have a great time with your students this year. And that wraps up this episode of the TeacherCast Podcast. Don't forget to check out all of our archives over at teachercast.net, where we've got hundreds of shows on educational technology, instructional technology coaching, and so much more. And today, I'm so happy that you guys have decided to make TeacherCast your home for professional development. So on behalf of Stephen and Scott, PTZ Optics, and everybody here on the TeacherCast Educational Network, my name is Jeff Bradbury, reminding you guys to keep up the great work in your classrooms and continue sharing your passions with your students.
You've been listening to the TeacherCast Educational Network, hosted by Jeff Bradbury. Please reach out to the show with all of your questions on Twitter @TeacherCast or online at www.teachercast.net. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And please take a moment to write a review in the App Store.